Your thumbnail is the first thing that people see, and if it doesn't grab attention, your video won't get clicks. So in this tutorial, I'm gonna show you how to design 3 eye-catching thumbnails in Canva that will drive views and help your videos stand out. So if that's what you're looking for, then let's go. First thing you're gonna need to do is go ahead and go to canva.com. If you don't already have an account, go ahead and create an account. You will need a pro account for this, but don't worry, if you don't have one, I have you covered. Down in the description, there will be a 30-day free trial of Canva Pro, so you can use it, make whatever you need to, and then decide if the pro account is right for you before you ever have to pay anything. All right, so that's down below. So here, now that we're at Canva, we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna create a design. We can choose kind of anything we want. I usually just go and go the custom size. I do 1920 by 1080. I know that some people have said that they can only upload thumbnails in 720. So if that's the case for you and your YouTube channel, then make sure that you do this at 720. 1920, 1080 has always worked for me. So I'm gonna start there. Create a new design. First one we're going to be working on is one that I actually make quite a bit. It's actually for my other YouTube channel. I have a YouTube channel just with my name, which is Jeff Evans. It is my reaction channel where I react to different music. For my channel like that, I would actually have some shots sort of like this that I take at the end of every video that I record. I just sit there with the camera and I make weird faces and do all kinds of crazy stuff. Anyway, it's super embarrassing. Yes, on one occasion I did accidentally hit start streaming instead of start recording, and my stream watched me do that for about 5 minutes before I realized what was happening. All right, if you have an embarrassing stream story, do me a favor, leave it down below. But okay, so now that we have an image like this, again, I'm just using a very basic image, something that I took. I want my whole setup to be in this particular image. Now, what we're gonna do is we're gonna use a remover feature that Canva has. We're not actually gonna do background remover. We could do that, but there is an easier way. We're gonna hit edit. We're gonna do magic grab. And then with magic grab, let me size this in just a little bit. So now with magic grab, we can actually select anything in our image that we want to grab and separate from the background. You can see it doesn't notice everything, but clearly I want it to just be me. I'm gonna hit grab just like that. And then we'll see it's actually going to grab that subject and separate it. So doesn't look like anything's changed, but bam, look, I'm all over the place, guys. All right, so first thing I'm gonna do is I'm actually gonna size me up just a little bit like that. Size me up, bro, right? Size up just like that. I'm gonna hit edit again. I wanna go in here. I wanna add a drop shadow just behind me. It's obviously gonna mess with me just a little bit. I want to bring intensity up just a little bit. And there we go. Now I'll size me up again, something like that. Perfect. I'm also gonna, while I'm in the edit menu, I'm just gonna go back and I'm going to go to adjust. And I like to sharpen up my face and things in these. So we will go down here to our sharpness and we'll kind of bump that. Not that much, that was a little much. Bump the clarity just a little bit too. Maybe bring a little bit of saturation to put some color in my cheeks. Something like that looks pretty good. So I'm pretty much done, but now let's do a little bit of work here on the background. So I would click my background, I would go to edit. I like to do like a duotone effect, and I know what color, roughly what colors I want. It's gonna be, that's not what I want. I want this to be more of an orange yellow for the highlights. Something like that is about perfect. And then I want this to be more of like a navy. Something a little more kind of like that, right? So one thing I'd also do is I'm just gonna turn the background black. And then I'm gonna put this back into place, because now what I can do is I can select this background. I can go right here to opacity and I can lower it, and it's just gonna darken that. And as I darken that, that's just gonna make me pop out a little bit more, but it still has my pops of colors and my branding in there, right? So here I would go and find a thumbnail or whatever it is I react to. Let's say I'm reacting to a Tom McDonald song, which is something that I do quite a bit. I would go and I'd grab a thumbnail just like this. I'd go find it on Google, grab the thumbnail, something like this. I would put it there. I would position it behind me. So I would go into my layers panel and put it directly behind me. So now that I have this here, I could always add a drop shadow or something to it if I want to. I don't necessarily want to right now, so I think that's fine. I'm gonna crop out the black bar just to give me a little more headroom. I think that's good. And then we'll go and add in a text. This is pretty simple. Add in whatever text you want. I can just click here, press T, and then I'm gonna say pastor reacts to, we'll say this is God Mode, which I actually just did a reaction to. Such a good song. Something like that. I would then obviously put this in my brand font. For this one, let's go Gotham Ultra Italic, which is a fantastic font. something like that. We're going to bring our spacing in just a little bit like that. And then we'll go into our effects here. We can do an outline with a pretty bold thickness, make it say black, you know, something like that really pops. Now that it's black, we maybe up our thickness a little bit more. Something like that really pops. We could always do something like this. Delete that out. Just keep the word God mode. I want to go ahead and remove the effect though. Put it over the top just like this. Just kidding. There we go. And then I could change it to maybe my brand color, which is like that yellow, orange color or something like that, right? And kind of make that word pop just a little bit more. So real quick, really easy. This would be a good reaction thumbnail. You could also go in here and grab something like, none of this will quite fit this branding, but you know, if I wanted to, something like that, just go in there, add a little bit of flair to it. Anything that makes this pop. One trick, this right now, guys, the entirety of the video, you watching this far in is worth this one trick right here. When you think you're done with your thumbnail, zoom out, because everyone else is going to see your thumbnail at that size. So zoom out. Is it clear what you're communicating? Is it clear what the video is about? And is it eye-catching, right? Because it can be clear and not eye-catching, and no one's going to click on it either way, right? So always zoom out. What I'm at, like 12%. I think that's pretty safe. Zoom out to about 12, 15% and see what it actually looks like there, okay? So that's going to be our first one. Next one is going to be a gaming style thumbnail. So let's say that you are a gamer. Let's say you play, let's go Valorant. I haven't played Valorant in a very long time, very, very long time. I think last time I played Valorant. All right, so I'm gonna type in Valorant character PNG. You here would obviously use whatever character that like you were maining or playing in that video, right? So we are gonna go here. Yeah, you can't go wrong here. So here, I'm just gonna copy this image. I'm gonna paste it into here. There we go. Already has the background removed, already looks sick. So now that I have the character that I wanna use, I wanna go and grab a Valorant background. And I'm really just looking for something interesting. Preferably like a landscape like this. This is pretty much perfect. Let's go with this one. This one is, so I'm just, again, I'm not saving these to my computer. I'm just hitting copy image. And I'm gonna come over here and I'm gonna Control V to paste it in. Just like this. I'm gonna kind of size it up. Go here to position. I'll put it behind our character, right? Now I immediately want to kind of get some separation. I want to size him up a little bit so that he's kind of popping out here. And now he's already kind of dark, so we're gonna have to toy around with how to get some separation. The first thing we're gonna do, I think we're just gonna drop the transparency of this down a little bit like that, maybe a little bit more. And another thing, so if you can't necessarily go darker, because darker isn't always the answer. One thing you can do to make even more separation is go to edit and go to blur and whole image. Now we can blur out specific things, but for this we'll go whole image. Let's blur it by about 16. Now that the background image is blurred, he's popping like even more. So now let's go to edit, go here under effects, and we will hit shadows. There we go. Adjust our angle again. Something like that I think looks really cool. We're gonna bring him over here. And then we're gonna go and add in some text. Let's say in this game, unstoppable. Just, right? Something like this. We'll go unstoppable, 30 kills, right? Something like this, you know, just really trying to get out some information. We want them to click. We want them to come look, see more, right? So let's go ahead. We'll add another effect to it. I'm just going to stick with the outline here. For this, I'm going to let the outline be white and the inside I'm going to make black, right? Kind of pops a little bit. Now let's go back to our outline. We'll bump the thickness of that. And then we're going to bring this in, go to effects. We're gonna go back to outline. I think I wanna do the same thing. I wanna make this one, we'll actually flip it. We'll make the outside of this one black and the inside white, right? Something like that. And then we can kind of play around with it. And then we can go in here and do, was it like a sunburst? Yeah, something kind of like this, right? Just something to kind of make it pop a little bit, you know? Here, I got a cool idea. Let's look at something else. So one thing we can do here, let's say, you know, I want some of these behind him, some of them in front of him. We can actually Control C, Control V and just copy him and then line him back up perfectly. And then we can have, you know, one that is behind, one that's on top. And then I can kind of just crop to do some different things like that. Let's see. Let me find my bottom of the image. So something kind of like that, you know? And then let's say we want the word unstoppable. We'll have the word unstoppable kind of behind him, right? But then we can kind of create some like dynamic looking images, really starting to pop. I think the word unstoppable is kind of getting lost here. So maybe we should remove unstoppable because it's not quite fitting. And we just go with something like 30 kills and just make it monstrous sized. Put it to the top, right? And there we go. We have a pretty dynamic, interesting image that I think a lot of people, you know, that this would get clicks. It would get some interest. Maybe play with your colors, make it match a little bit further, but overall, that's pretty solid. All right, so the last one that we're gonna tackle here is going to be, let's say you do like a tech review type. And so the one I was thinking of here is sort of in the style of, you know, a tech reviewer. And so let's say you're reviewing an app on your phone. For simplicity's sake, we'll say you're doing a review of Spotify. You're right there on the verge. Spotify just launched. You're the guy putting out the review, guy or girl putting out the review, right? So we want to do an image of ourselves. I'm just going to, for simplicity's sake, I'm going to use this image again. And this time around, I'm not going to use my background. I could do exactly the same as like we did in the first thumbnail. For this one, I don't think I'm going to do that. So I'm just going to hit background remover. And there we go. You remove the background pretty well. I will size me up again, right? Now let's give me a background. Let's do like a watercolor background. I don't know. Something that's not, I guess, you know, something like that kind of works, I guess. We'll go with a lighter colored. Going to try to go clean looking, at least for now. All right, then we go position, put that behind, just like that. And so from here, we could then go and find like a phone. Oh, let's go to all over here. And so we're gonna have like photos like these, which is a little bit more what I'm wanting. I kind of want like this, and we'll position that behind me, I think. Yeah, so we'll do like that. And let's say, so now let's go back under elements. We're still on phone. I'm gonna grab a frame here. So the cool thing about a frame, and I'm just gonna kind of size that in, and I'm kind of making it look like it's there. There we go. The cool thing about frames is all I have to do is drag it, and it's going to like pop to size, right? So now it's there, it's perfect. From here, with this kind of hand back here, let's go ahead and add a drop shadow, just make it pop a little bit, you know? And there we go, right? Basic drop shadow, we'll size it up to hopefully make it fit our frame that we already have there. So we kind of have something like this, and then we could always throw in like the Spotify logo, right? Something like this, you know? I feel like that's like the old school logo. I don't think they still use those colors anymore, so we'll go black, and I feel like the green is a bit more vibrant, but I don't think I'm gonna be able to like hit it either. Kind of do something like that, give it a little tilt, size it up, put it behind everything else, you know, something like that. We're kind of getting into the realm, you know, cool tech stuff. We could always add text, but really with something like this, we don't necessarily have to add the text, right? Like we're gonna let the imagery do the talking, you know? And then of course, if they're interested in this, they could always click on, or they would always read the title, and then the title could tell them what it's actually about. But for this one, they don't necessarily need the text. So with that, those are the 3 thumbnails. We have a pretty basic reaction thumbnail that's would get some clicks, a gaming thumbnail, and then a tech review using kind of different mechanics. Hopefully that helps you. If that did help you, make sure you subscribe to this channel. Join me over on Twitch as we stream. About every Friday we're streaming now, so make sure you come on over and hang out. But with that, guys, I do appreciate you, and I'll see you in the next one.